So I'll just start off by saying that I'm a nerd. So for a couple of years, I've been reading about things that have been bothering me and bitching about them on Facebook. And to anyone who would listen, saying, "What do I do? What do I do?" And just during this kind of gathering of information, I started to learn about Occupy Wall Street and that was going to be happening. So when it happened, I was on Facebook and I was on Global Revolution the first day watching it going, oh my gosh, what's going to happen, what's going to happen? And then I started watching the media reaction, because part of what I've been, studying in my nerddom is media impact on what and how things are reported versus how things actually happen. So I was watching this all happen, and I'm watching it on live stream, I'm watching people talk, and then I'm watching the media and I'm going, why isn't anything happening? What's going on here? At that same time, there was a conference in Boston on having a constitutional convention to ban corporate personhood. So, like I said, I'm a nerd. I was at that conference. And because I'm also a talkative person, I was talking to people around me about, have you seen any media coverage of Occupy Wall Street? Have you even heard that this is going on? Because there are like 80 people going camped out on this park in New Hampshire, in New York, and it's crazy. Well, one of the people I talked to, you should always it's funny. I talked to her and I said, have you heard about this? She's like, well, yeah. I was like, you have? She's like, well, yeah. She's like, I organized Occupy Wall Street. At that point, it was like, look at this. Everything's meeting up right where it's supposed to be. How can I help? I want to do this in Boston. There were a couple people who were doing it in Boston. We started the General Assemblies. We started putting everything together, and people came in, and it's just a matter of it was almost too easy to put it together, because people are so much wanting to be part of this. They want their voices heard. They're tired of it, and they've been looking for a way to voice their frustrations and get something done. So here we go in. Now this is my first ever activist thing on the planet other than writing a couple articles. So I don't know anything about police interactions, how the media is going to be reporting this, how the tents are going to be structured. Nothing. Nice way to get your feet wet. So, so that I've spent a lot of time doing, and then also, as part of what made this so ironic, I was waiting in Boston to close on outside Boston, living with my in-laws, waiting to close on a house in New Hampshire. Because in all of my learning, part of what I wanted to do was go start growing my own food. And then I knew to do that I'd need some land, and I knew I liked New Hampshire, and New Hampshire is like my favorite state, so I was waiting to close to come here. So I get to Occupy Boston, I do a couple weeks there, figure out all that, and then I move. So now I'm over in Henniker, waiting to get all this farming stuff started and all that. And I'm going, okay, what do I do now? Because I can't go into Boston every day. I'm not all for the commuting thing. And so what I'm doing now is I'm working with Occupy Boston to expand the digital outreach that we're doing, to expand the voice, to be able to include people who can't necessarily come in and camp on site, who can't necessarily be on site at all for any reason. Anyone that wants to be involved should be able to be part of that voice that's being represented. 99% is a lot of people. So what I'm working on is trying to expand that breadth using technology, using people, and using people who want to volunteer remotely to do whatever they want to do. So that's all I really have to say. I'm glad to see you all here. I'm glad to see you all here a lot. So.